Hi, welcome to Anaprime Recap. You are trapped in a deadly game, controlled by a demonic bear, and the only way out is to eliminate your opponents without anyone finding you. We are in the anime Danganronpa, episodes 1, 2 and 3. At an elite high school in Japan, 15 prodigy students are brought together with the promise that, upon graduation, they will be guaranteed success in life. Naegi is one of them. When crossing the school gates, the boy passes out and wakes up in a classroom. At that moment, he realizes that something strange is happening. The young man notices the presence of gigantic gates, like those used to protect the vaults of large banks. Besides the gate, there are also cameras pointed at it. At one of the tables in that room, the young man finds a student guide, who informs him about a freshman ceremony that would take place in the high school gym. Naegi walks through the corridors, until he finds the place where the other students were gathered. Each of the teenagers there has a talent that sets them apart from the other students. For this reason, they were invited to join that school. As they try to fit in with the other freshmen, Naegi is surprised to be recognized by an old classmate. Meizano is one of the members of a very recognizable musical group in the country, so the boy is surprised to find that this popular girl remembers him. Minutes later, one of the students comments that all her things, including her cell phone, were gone. The other students check their pockets and discover that they also had their cell phones confiscated. Suddenly, a voice starts coming out of the speakers and, when least expected, a bizarre teddy bear appears on stage and introduces himself as Monokuma, principal of that school. The bear claims that from that moment on, the students would live the rest of their lives in that place. Naegi asks if the plates and iron gates around the school were to keep them inside, and the principal says yes. No matter how much they scream, no one will ever help them. Monokuma still continues his speech, saying that there is a special rule for people who want to leave. For this, the student will need to eliminate one of his classmates without being discovered by the other students. Owada, head of the biggest motorcycle gang in the country, threatens to destroy the teddy bear, who informs him that hitting the principal is against the rules. From the animal's body, a noise similar to a bomb begins to sound. Kirigiri, who so far didn't had her abilities revealed, asks the boy to launches the creature away. As the freshmen wonder if the school principal has died, a new bear, identical to the previous one, emerges from behind the stage and threatens them that the next time someone breaks the rules they will receive severe punishment. After the welcoming ceremony, the students plan to team up to find a way out of that place, but Tagami decides to go alone to avoid being a victim by an trader's attack. Owada, who is an extremely stressed guy, doesn't like this attitude and threatens to attack the boy. While trying to avoid the fight, Naegi ends up getting punched by Owada and pass out. He wakes up minutes later in his room, with Meizano sitting in a chair next to his bed. She informs him that the other students have split up to look for a way to escape. After promising to help each other find a way out of that prison, they both join their colleagues in the kitchen. During the meeting, they put together all the information they were able to gather as they walked through the school. They concluded that it was impossible to destroy the iron gates that kept them trapped inside, and they even discovered that they only have access to a single floor of the school. Each student has their own room which, despite being comfortable, has cameras everywhere. Fujisaki, a skilled programmer, even informs his classmates that while looking at the fridge, Monokuma appeared and informed him that the pantry would be replenished daily, so they wouldn't have to worry about running out of food. In short, the students had not found any escape route and still did not know the real identity of the psychopath who imprisoned them there. 3 days have passed and they still can't find a way out. As they speculate about a possible rescue, Monokuma appears and invites them to the video room. Arriving there, each student is faced with a recording of their family and friends, but at the end of the video they are all dead. Students panic. After watching the recording, Meizano despairs and Naegi does everything he can to calm her down. He swears to the girl that he will get her out of that place, whatever it takes. During the night, the students are already in their rooms. The principal announces that each room has a bathroom, but only the girls' bathroom has a lock. He even informs them that in each student's locker drawer there is a gift, which is actually a toolkit. It's 9:30 already and Naegi decides to take a shower, but he can't open the bathroom door. The boy wonders if the door was locked. At that moment, the evil teddy bear appears and reminds him that only the girl's bathroom can be locked. Naegi questions him about how he managed to get into his room, and the principal warns him about never leaving his room door unlocked. He even informs the boy that his bathroom door is the only one that has a problem, and whenever it is closed, it ends up getting stuck. The creature then teaches him a trick so he can open the door easily and then leaves. The boy locks the door, but soon after he hears the doorbell and Meizano's voice. Once inside Naegi's room, the girl claims that she had tried to open his door. She says she is very scared, but the boy reminds her of the rule created by the students, which prohibited leaving the rooms during the nighttime. But Meizano says that because it is an agreement made between the students, there would be no punishment if someone broke it. Finally, she asks Naegi if he would mind switching rooms with her just for that night. The boy promptly accepts. He shows Meizano how to open the bathroom door in case she needs to use it during the night. Then he asks the girl to lock the door and not open it for anyone. And she replies then, that she wouldn't even open it to him. Naegi then sleeps in the girl's room. The next morning, the students gather for breakfast. Everyone was already seated at the table, except Meizano. Naegi runs to the room looking for the young girl. When he gets there, he notices that the door is open and his friend is not in bed. And the bathroom door was destroyed. The boy walks there and, upon opening the door, finds a disturbing scene. Meizano was lying on the ground with a blood puddle around her body. Naegi is terrified and passes out again. When he wakes up, he's in the high school gym with his classmates, by Monokuma's order. At first, everyone believes that bear is responsible for eliminating the girl. Moments later, the principal appears and says that he is not allowed to eliminate any students unless they break a rule. He even says that one of the students present in that room was the one who eliminated Meizano so he could graduate and leave that place. But he adds that, in order to get out of there, the culprit cannot let the other students find out that he is the imposter. In order to know if this intention has been achieved or not, in a few hours there will be a school judging session, where students will have to vote on who they believe to have been the perpetrator of the crime. The student with the most votes is declared guilty. If that person is the real imposter, he will be punished. But if the jury fails to find the real culprit, all the innocent students will be punished and the perpetrator of the crime will graduate and be released from that school. One detail is that every time the principal talks about punishment, he is referring to a brutal execution. Upon hearing all this, Inashima revolts and says that she will not participate in that trial. The teddy bear walks up to her to lecture her, but before he can finish his speech, the girl tramples on his face. At this point, Monokuma reminds her that hitting the principal is against the rules and triggers a punishment for Inashima. Seconds later, the girl has her body pierced by several spears and dies immediately. Before leaving, Monokuma asks the students to make an effort in the investigation and informs them that they will soon be subpoenaed for the trial. With no other option, they consult the information provided by the principal regarding Meizano's death. In this way, they discover that the girl died in Naegi's room and all the students become suspicious of him. The boy explains why they switched rooms, but obviously he can't convince his classmates. After that, all the students separate to investigate. While analyzing the crime scene, Naegi notices the presence of some numbers written in blood on the wall next to Meizano. Kirigiri even notices that on the door of Naegi's room, there is a sign with Meizano's name on it. That means at some point, a person changed the plates. But what would she gain from it? That's what we're going to investigate. In the trash can in Meizano's room, Naegi finds the CD with the recording that the students saw in the first few days they were confined. Upon watching the video, he discovers that all the members of the musical group that Meizano was a part of had been killed. Soon after, Principal Monokuma requests the presence of all students to start the trial. Until that moment, everyone is convinced that Naegi is to blame. Kirigiri starts to argue, investigating the weapon used in the crime, a kitchen knife. But who could have taken that knife? Asahina says that the night before she was in the cafeteria with Sakura when Meizano herself went there, and when she left, one of the knives was gone. Even though they are convinced that Meizano was the one who took the knife to the room, the students do not rule out the possibility that Naegi is the imposter. Kirigiri then recalls the crime scene. Clearly, the person who killed Meizano had difficulties getting into the bathroom, despite the door not having a lock. The boy reveals that his bathroom door was defective and it was necessary to know the correct way to open it. This proves that Naegi cannot be the culprit because, in order to open the door, the imposter had to remove the bolt from the knob. But the question remains, how did this imposter manage to get into Meizano's room? After all, the bedroom door had a lock and there was no sign of a break-in. Naegi recalls his friend saying that she wouldn't even open the door for him, as she was too scared. At this point, Kirigiri shows a note signed by Meizano that she had found while scratching a pencil in her notebook. It is possible to read that the girl invited someone to her dorm and asked that person to look carefully at the names on the plates so as not to miss the room. As the plates had also been switched, the person would be drawn to the room where Meizano was. But who changed those plates? Aside from Naegi, Meizano was the only one who knew about the room switch, so only she could have done it. When questioning why the girl took a knife from the kitchen, then invited someone to her room at night, and then switched the plates, the only conclusion the students came to is that the girl was planning to eliminate someone. After committing the crime, she would return the plates to their proper place and incriminate Naegi. But for some reason, Meizano's plan backfired and the girl was eventually eliminated. The only mystery that remains to be solved is, who received the invitation to go to Meizano's room? To find out, Naegi recalls the clue left by the girl on the bathroom wall. After thinking a lot, the boy deduced that what was written were not numbers, but letters, which were written backwards due to Meizano's position. When you read them correctly, those letters formed the name, Leon, which belonged to a baseball player in the class. The boy denies his involvement in the crime, but Kirigiri recalls the burned shirt sleeve and broken crystal ball found in the room where the students were dispatching the garbage. After eliminating Meizano, the culprit tried to get rid of the evidence of the crime, which in this case was his bloodstained shirt. As the path leading to the incinerator was blocked by the door, he used Hagakuri's crystal ball to hit the button that opened the door automatically. That would be impossible for a normal person, but not for a super talented baseball player like Leon. But he left a mistake behind. Part of the bloodstained shirt sleeve he tried to destroy fell out of the incinerator and ended up becoming the definitive proof that he was the culprit, as he was the only student to wear a white shirt like that. After being confronted with all that evidence, Leon drives insane and denies being guilty of that crime. But Naegi has one more ace up his sleeve. He says that his bathroom door handle was missing the screw. That's probably how the imposter managed to get in. He then asks Leon to show them his toolkit, so they can check to see if the screwdriver has any evidence that it was used. That's when the boy realizes he's been spotted out and there's nothing he can do to cover up his crime. Voting begins and Leon is named by everyone as the culprit. Monokuma informs him that the students guessed the name of the person who eliminated Meizano. In his defense, Leon reveals that he only did it because he had no choice. If he didn't eliminate her, he could have lost his own life right there. Then the principal begins to punish the boy. As he had been discovered, his fate was to be executed in a very painful way. Leon is then sent to the execution room, where he is tied up with a throwing machine aimed directly at him. As all the classmates watch, the machine is turned on and the boy is eliminated after being hit with hundreds of baseballs. After watching another of their colleagues being brutally eliminated, they all fall into deep despair, but Monokuma reminds them that they have a choice to survive. For that, they should forget the outside world and live forever in that school. Is there any way for the rest of the students to get out of this place alive? So, what did you think of this anime? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like it and subscribe for more anime recaps. See you next time.